SoFi stock. Is now a good time to get into SoFi stock? What are the potential catalysts that could send SoFi stock up? And where is SoFi stock from a technical standpoint? Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. Let's get into it. Please read the disclaimer. So right now, if we look at SoFi stock, SoFi currently today is sitting at $15.62 pre-market. I'm recording this video a little bit early. It's right now at $16, up 2.69% in pre-market. Maybe by the time you're watching it, SoFi stock has gone up a little bit. Maybe SoFi has gone down. But we're looking right now at this time in this current situation. Now, if I'm just looking at SoFi from a technical analysis standpoint of view, not about potential of what SoFi can be. If we take, and very interesting, there's a few things that I want to touch on. The first one is that SoFi stock, if we're looking at the Fibonacci, so if you look at the Fibonacci from the bottom here to the top, you can see that SoFi stock stopped exactly on the 618, right? So the 60% Fibonacci there, that has been a very strong support level for SoFi stock. Now, if it does break, potentially SoFi stock could come down all the way to the $10 range. And then you have to ask yourself, is that a range that you are interested in or not interested in, right? Another thing that here is very, very important for SoFi stock, if we're just looking from technical standpoint, is that we did see so far a potential double bottom here for SoFi stock. So we get this, you call it a George W. Some people like to call it that. Some people call it a double bottom, but that's what we're seeing right now for SoFi stock. So the potential here is that if that happens and we do see a breakout, we could see SoFi stock potentially going up 70 or even back up to all-time to the highs here would be 114% recovery here for SoFi stock. So that's a very nice run. You think about it, a lot of the stocks that have been running over the past few weeks have gone up around that range and everybody's like, oh my God. So if SoFi can do that, potentially that would be a very, very strong indication here for SoFi stock in the midterm. Another thing that sometimes happens and sometimes doesn't, but many times in the stock market, what will happen is that when something like this opens, it gets closed. So do you see what I'm talking about? Maybe if you're watching on your phone, it's a little bit hard and there's a lot of things going on the screen right now with the Fibonacci, but there's a gap. So there was a gap that opened up here from 1833 all the way down to 1647. What happens usually in the market is when a gap like this opens up, it gets closed. And so there's high probability that SoFi stock will move up to this next Fibonacci level as a resistance level. And that's exactly where the gap is. It seems that SoFi moves very, very in cadence with the Fibonacci. So that's another thing that we're going to need to watch out for. Another thing that I'm seeing here, and it's very interesting, is that if we look at the moving average and we look at the 150, the 150 moving average, this is the blue line. It's kind of hard to see. Also, maybe I'll delete the Fibonacci here and we can see it a little bit better, and I'll delete this as well. And you can see here the blue line, SoFi is some will say it's undervalued, right? So if we look at the 150 moving average, which is a moving average that I like, you can see here that it's still significantly under the 150. If it was over, then we could say, oh, maybe it's a little bit overbought. So right now, I would say that SoFi could be potentially undervalued just from a technical point of view. Now, as always, I just want to remind you, as this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. I don't know what SoFi stock is going to do. I don't know how it's going to react. The whole market is sitting and waiting in anticipation to see what's going to happen with the Iran-USA peace agreement, potential, yes, no. And you can see pre-market, most of the market is up today, this morning, after that long weekend from Memorial Day weekend. And it will be very interesting to see how SoFi stock opens up this week and how the rest of the market opens up as well. We're getting mixed signals. A little bit Trump is saying yes deal, no deal, but the things that they're talking about are right now it's not looking that positive that a deal will get done. The things that President Trump is asking for, I don't see the Iranians agreeing to them straight up. And so that, of course, is going to potentially affect the markets if we see the S&P 500 drop a little bit off its all-time highs. I wouldn't be surprised, again, if there's no deal. There could be a little bit of fear about that. And then we could potentially see what SoFi will also do. Now, I asked ChatGPT here, what could be the potential catalyst for SoFi to break out? So the biggest catalyst for SoFi to truly break out higher is probably a combination of continued profitability and accelerating growth in the tech platforms business. Right now, the market already knows SoFi can grow members fast. The question is whether it can evolve from a high growth fintech into a durable, highly profitable financial ecosystem. Here are the main catalysts investors are watching. Raise guidance, earnings beat. The stock has reacted strongly to earnings. Investors were disappointed recently because SoFi posted strong numbers but did not raise full year guidance. If management raises 2026 revenue or EPS forecasts in the next earnings report, that could trigger a major retreating. And everything is set up in a way that with high probability, we could see that. Now, earnings, right, are a little bit ways away, right? That's only in August we'd see earnings. So we'd have to wait and see potentially, when earnings are going to happen for SoFi. But if you've been following the channel for we've only been doing the stocks religiously here for about a week or so, but I have mentioned that the earnings are very tricky sometimes because even, for example, we looked at NVIDIA and NVIDIA had really good earnings, but it already had gone up so much running into earnings that it pulled back a little bit when earnings weren't much better than expected. And the guidance wasn't much better than expected. Many times the market will react to what could potentially happen. Technology platform recovery. This is not the most important long-term catalyst. The lending business is already strong, but investors want high margin recurring software revenue. Galileo revenue weakness and client losses hurt sentiment recently. If platform accounts stabilize and enterprise adoption accelerates, Wall Street could be valuing SoFi more like fintech software company rather than just an online lender. Lower interest rates, rate cuts could increase mortgage demand, refinancing, personal loan growth, student loan activity. This would likely boost loan or organizations materially. English is my second language. So if I mess up a word, please give me a pass. The trade-off is slightly lower lending margins, but markets often reward the growth acceleration first. And this is going to be very important, not just for SoFi, but for the whole market. We'll see what new Fed Chairman Kevin Warsh is going to do with interest rates. Right now, the probabilities of a reduction are at zero, and the actual probabilities of a raise have been going up. So that could be very interesting to see how that plays out. But if oil prices don't come down, if the conflict, the U.S. Iran war doesn't end or goes on a long pause, then oil prices could stay high and inflation could be problematic. So this could be problematic for SoFi. Bank charter advantage becoming more obvious. SoFi's bank charter allows it to gather cheap deposits instead of relying on heavy or expensive funding markets. That's a huge structural advantage over many fintech competitors. If deposits keep growing while credit quality stays strong, investors might start giving SoFi a higher valuation multiple. And a potential of an S&P 500 inclusion, some analyst speculations think SoFi could eventually qualify for inclusion if profitability and market cap continue improving. That would force index funds and ETF to buy the shares automatically, which can create strong momentum. New products, crypto payments, expansion, their growing attention around SoFi Pay, blockchain payments infrastructure, FedNow integration, potential stablecoin payment products. So that's a big business as well. This is still early, but if managers prove real monetization, the market could assign premium multiples and a potential of a short squeeze or momentum rotation. SoFi is very sentiment-driven stock. When growth stocks and fintech names get hot, SoFi tends more aggressive because retail traders pile in quickly. If the company posts a perfect quarter, momentum alone could push it sharply higher. Right now, a lot of retail is going into a few sectors, more AI, which we talk about on the channel as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel for more stock updates, not just SoFi updates, but if you're interested in SoFi updates as well, you can subscribe for that. And so a lot of retail money is going into the AMDs, into the Microns, into that kind of area. And even in quantum stocks and things like that have been hot recently, and less into stocks like SoFi. But again, it's cyclical and this could change very, very fast, right? The biggest things holding the stock back right now is valuation concerns. dilution. That's not how you say it, right? Dilution from past share offerings, fears that growth could slow, and uncertainty around the tech platform segment in general. So the breakout formula is probably strong earnings plus rate guidance plus Galileo recovery plus lower rates. If that happens altogether, SoFi could re-rate much higher very quickly. And again, it's also technically, if investors see that there's a technical potential here, then they could start flowing in, and that potential double bottom could bring in technical analysis, also traders, and also that Fibonacci that we were looking at before. So it's going to be very interesting to see what SoFi can do from here. Right now, it has been consolidating for a while, but there is a potential for a breakout here. If we look at the 1348 EMA, which is also an indicator that I like to use, and so you can see, let me just remove this one. You can see that there was a potential crossover here, but that never happened. So if that could potentially come here for SoFi, then there's a potential of another crossover. And you can see last time it had the red, so the crossover that gave a sell signal, and then it went down, and then had that buy. It went up a significant amount. It went up about 165% after that. Then we had like this buy, sell, buy, situation here, and it consolidated, but then we had that pullback. So the indicator isn't 100%, right? Nothing is 100%, but it does give us a good indication when there is momentum. And so I'll be watching to see if that happens also for SoFi in the next coming weeks and months. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Is SoFi undervalued? Is it potential to drop even more, maybe to the $10 range? Or is there a potential here for SoFi to recover back to that 32 level where it saw its highs? Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.